noticed something that's been, well, it's been prolonged on this car's maintenance is the cooling system. I flushed it years ago, and you know, I didn't really know what I was doing at the time, and you know, teenager and all that crap. But so anyway, yeah, we got all the stuff to flush the coolant. I'll make a video about it, and yeah, I'll show you what the coolant looks like in this thing. It's bad, you know, it's brown, and it's always a little low. And you know, we're gonna flush it out, even though, you know, I'm gonna take the engine out of this car. I got bigger plans for it. And yeah, the heat has been like subpar for a long time. I had the heater core fixed at one point years ago, after I realized, you know, I'm not the greatest at soldering. Thank God I had a copper one, so you know, I saved that one, because if you get a new one, it's aluminum, and they're pretty much unrepairable because they have these stupid plastic tanks on them. So yeah, anyway, long story short, yeah, we're gonna flush the heater core good. We're gonna do you know, do it the right way. All right, so getting ready to do the flush here, just getting ready to drain out whatever crap's in there. The nice thing about these police cars, you can tell if their hoses are original. They are the nice silicone green hoses. They're like high temp, and these are original, and supposedly they last forever, but I don't know about forever, but it definitely lasts a long time. Here's my, I'm going to be using the garden hose to flush out the heater core and all. I'm going to be using this Prestone, yeah, flush cleaner here. Yeah, I've been doing a little bit of research. A lot of people have good success with this. I bought 2 bottles just in case. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about with this coolant here. I mean, there's, can't really tell, but if you look in here, and it's pretty nasty. You'll see it when I start draining it. It's brown. Look at all the rust around the, you know, the end of the cap, and you know, all this crap. You know, it's time. Like, it's been years since I flushed it, so, and the heat's poor. I mean, it's warm, but it's not super hot like it should be. And you know, she just needs a flush. That's all. Regular routine maintenance. How brown that is. So basically, what I'm going to do is, like a lot of people use distilled water. I might wind up using that eventually, but for right now, I'm going to remove the thermostat, reseal it, so I get full flow, because I'm not, this isn't a daily driver right now. I'm not too concerned about heat, and it is winter time right now. And so I'm going to remove the thermostat, reseal it. I'm gonna pour this in and just fill it with water, and it's not going to get below freezing anytime this week at all, but I'll definitely be driving a car every day, or at least keeping it warm just in case, you know, because you know, it won't freeze up if it hits 32 degrees overnight. You know, it'll take a couple days of steady, you know, a day or two of, you know, steady below freezing. You know, that's when stuff freezes actually, and it'll be enough in the block and everything. So I'm not too concerned about that, but for right now, I'm just going to use regular tap water. Like, even look at the thermostat, it's like covered in crap also. So this was way overdue. Glad I got another. Look at this. Yeah, we're gonna be flushing this a few times. So I'm using this ultra copper gasket maker just as a temporary, because you know, I'm gonna have to take that thermostat housing off anyway, you know, to put the thermostat back in, obviously, once you're done flushing. But the reason for taking the thermostat out is I want full flow through the radiator. So I was looking in the store, and one of my good friends mentioned the he uses ultra copper, which turns out it was 50 cents cheaper than the high temp, and it's higher temperature. So I don't know if it's a misprint or what, price thing or what, but either way, it's 50 cents cheaper than the red stuff, which is good till like $6.50, and this stuff's good till $700. So yeah, he uses all this stuff. He's never had a problem, swears by it. You know, he's check his channel out, Shorter to Ground Racing. He's a good friend of mine, very knowledgeable, especially with Fords. And yeah, so we're gonna see how this works, and I'm pretty sure it will. And yeah, go check his channel out. He's got some cool stuff with his supercharged Explorer. You know, look at the crud in there, man. We got a lot of flushing to do. I'm also going to use some distilled white vinegar, just because it's a very low acid, and well, it's a mild acid, and because just given the scale I've got in this radiator without taking it out and clean it, I'm sure it can't hurt. Just gonna flush it out again anyway. What happens? Yeah, flush it. See what's up. Ready to fill it. I'll leave this in here for days now. So yeah, I'll continue to flush this. So day 2, I ran it for like probably about half an hour last night. It's still full, although it didn't seem to be full last night because there's a bunch of foam in here. It was foaming up like crazy, but I was filling it without the thermostat. But I guess that's just how this stuff works. I was gonna film that, but it was dark out and everything, so I didn't bother. So it's still full, sitting overnight, which is good because I was worried it was just a giant air pocket. I'm hoping to save this radiator, because what I seen last night was it's pretty clogged. So, you know, all we can do is hope for the best. It's full, and I'll put the cap back on and start it up, and you know, take it for a drive. See here, anything in there? A little bit. You can't really see on the camera, but yeah. Driving around for a little bit now. It's been running for a little while in the driveway. I couldn't get it warm. Even I had to wind up putting cardboard in the between the radiator and the condenser here and hold it in there. Even then, still, it's only just driving around at about 160. So that's with like stop-go traffic on the highway, and you know. So I'll bring it back, see if I can get it all the way up to temperature, and then we'll drain it out and flush it and see what it looks like. So day 3, I just flushed this thing again, and there's not much flow through this radiator. It's still, I don't know if you can see, if I can shine the light in there. It's still pretty clogged. Like, here, see how that looks. Like you can see, I was scraping that cooler with a screwdriver a little bit, but there's not much flow through this radiator, so I'm just gonna replace it. You know, sometimes you just have to pick your battles. I'll be flushing this thing forever before I get it unclogged, if it'll ever unclog. But yeah, I have another radiator for it, which I found. I'll show you guys, and I'm just gonna swap it out. Show you guys real quick. And the fins, like you see the outside of the wall of the tube here, or the neck, the fins look just as bad. Let's see if I can take this out maybe. Look at the crap coming out. This radiator is completely clogged. Well, it's not completely. I never really had a overheating problem. But, and this is after like the 3rd time flushing it, and it's still brown as could be. So yeah, I'm gonna change her out, clean all this up. Clean all these leaves up, and I don't think I'll show you guys the new radiator. It's an aluminum one, all aluminum, TIG welded. I don't think it's going to be a direct fit, but from the measurements I took, it should be minor modifications, hopefully, but we'll find out. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I bypassed the heater core with this fitting here. Made this a while ago when we had heater core issues with another Caprice, so we saved it because you never know when you're going to need it. So this is bypassed, and I have the lower hose down here. There's the lower hose there. You see it's still brown coming out. Got the radiator out, and then I have this adapter into the thermostat neck there. The thermostat, you know, is removed, and I'm gonna back flush this till clear comes out of the bottom, just to make sure everything's out of the engine, all that crap. And I don't want to do that and clog the heater core, so I'll flush the heater core separate. Pretty clear right now. Show you over here as it progresses. See how it progressively becomes cleaner. All the containers. Yeah, this is, yeah. So here's a new radiator. I got this offline, and I've just been doing a couple test fits. Looks pretty close to where it needs to be, and get ready for the install. So I got the new radiator in. It's a little bit wider, but I had to make some modifications with where it bolted up to. It's 4-row, so it's definitely thicker, so it didn't quite fit in the saddles, which was okay. I'm not too concerned about how it fits or anything, because this is just temporary. You know, I'm not going to make it all perfect till I get the other engine in. But I just used some self-tappers and some washers. I just shot them in here because it didn't want it, because the radiator's thicker, it didn't want to go to the original locating holes. So, you know, it's a little crude, but you know, she's pretty solid. You know, it's not really moving anywhere. It's not really gonna rub anywhere. Gotta hook the transmission lines up and the hoses, and fill it up. So. Really cools it down. Reading the side of the tank here. We got 185 or less on the thermometer. Although I think this thermostat is opening and closing. Heat's pretty warm. It's about the same as what it was actually, but this radiator is actually a little too big for this engine, but that's why we run a thermostat. So I just got done with a test ride. Temp seems steady. Heat is hot. I'm sure I'm gonna have to burp it again after it sits overnight, but we'll check, because it didn't really build up pressure with the filling it, you know, up on the incline in the driveway. And you know, the true test is I could grab my pressure tester and pressure test everything, make sure I don't have any leaks. And yeah, we'll see with the overall success. There's a couple minor ends I need to touch up with. The transmission lines weren't in the ports for the cooler. It's a different size cooler, so on the new radiator they were lower, like closer together. So I don't know if the cooler's smaller or the tank's bigger on the other one or not, but or the new one, or maybe it's just a different style. But so I had to, you know, get those to fit, and they I just got to make sure they're not rubbing on anything, because I just kind of threw it together just for a test ride. But to make sure everything's good, there's no leaks. There's one little thing on the shroud I want to look at, and then other than that, it was good success. didn't seem to take any more after the test ride. I brought some just in case. It didn't, I checked it when I pulled into the driveway here. It didn't, it was still full. So although there was no pressure when I was filling the hoses and when I took the cap off. So once I get a heat cycle in, you know, then it should suck whatever's in the expansion tank back in, if there is any air, once it draws a suction. Because if it doesn't build pressure, when it cools down, it will draw suction. So yeah, that'll test that cap too. So I'll pop it open tomorrow morning when it's nice and cold, make sure the hoses aren't collapsed, and we'll go from there. Thanks for watching.